Hey guys, welcome to a little video I have entitled, I Hate Intel. Alright, so guys, I just need to explain some things that are going on here. I am working on my review process with an iBuyPower element system. And I have it right here. I've been fighting with it for a little while. So here's the thing. iBuyPower, look at this thing. Just as I have this excellent built system, I've already taken a couple peeks inside. I've gotten to see how they put things together, and I am super impressed with the work that they've done here. But you know, as usual, when you're a reviewer, you can run into problems, and of course I turn this thing on and Windows 10 won't boot. So I mess around with settings and I go about turning off some overclocking to see if it's an instability problem. No worries there. I go mess around with the different UEFI boot settings and legacy boot settings, which it was a boot partition, so I knew it was UEFI, but you know, messing around with the CSM type settings and stuff, and no luck there. So I decide, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just install on one of my own disks just to make sure that it's the actual image that might be having a problem. I can't boot to a SATA drive. I screwed around with every setting and could not figure out a way to boot to a SATA drive, not even in Legacy. It just was like, and my theory is that because there's an NVMe drive plugged in, Intel has a BIOS setting that basically says, oh, you got an NVMe drive? Well, you don't want to boot from a SATA, so you're not going to be able to. Screw you, Intel. Ugh. So then I'm like finally figuring that out, and I'm like, all right, I don't know. It's not a big deal. I'm just gonna reinstall Windows. So I set up all my UEFI settings, get rid of my CSM settings, because you know I shouldn't need them on a newer chipset like this. It should be the X299 chipset from Intel. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna be fine. Grab my Windows 10 USB disk, throw it into the computer, go start working on the install. Everything installs fine, everything's going great, go through a couple of restarts. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I think that whatever image iBuyPower had, maybe they accidentally grabbed the wrong one. It just doesn't have the right M2 driver. I go from one reboot, BIOS locks up. What? I just got through the whole install process. Everything was working just fine, no worries. And for some weird reason, as soon as Windows does its normal restart through the normal install process, BIOS locks up. I have to just depower, clear the RAM, back up just fine. Okay, all right. Go into Windows. It's installing. Everything's going great. It has to download updates. Oh, cool, doing it during the install process. I like that. Go through it, restart, blue screen. The heck? Why is there a blue screen? It was working just fine. And it's like so I hit the power button, turn it off, turn it back on, bam, everything's fine, I'm up, I'm running, we're good to go. Now I'm gonna do some stability testing just to make sure so I don't screw up my actual benchmark results, but I don't think it's an instability problem because whenever I would disable overclock or RAM settings just to double check, I'd have the exact same problem. So that's usually not an indication of instability. I just hate Intel. Could it be that iBuyPower did something? I guess it's a possibility, but you know why I am just not gonna blame them, not even slightly, is because I had very similar issues with my 7700K review that I did. I mean, I would sit there and try to install, and it wouldn't install. I had to do a CSM compatibility module enabled on my motherboard so that I could get Windows to install and then disable it so I could take full advantage of my UEFI install. I hate Intel. They always seem to give me weird little quirks I gotta work through so that I can actually get to the performance level. All right, guys, to be fair enough, I will end this rant with a little bit of benefit to Intel. Yes, they have phenomenal performance, and once you get through the weird little ticks, and they usually only seem to be during an install process, they work great. And it's after that we don't seem to have a problem. But as a reviewer, I really hate having install in issues I shouldn't have. And I am gonna say this. I think it has a lot to do with Intel doing little tiny changes all the time to try to keep forcing a new product down our throats that we really don't need every year. And if they would just stick to a chipset, at least if you're going to throw a new processor down our throats every year, at least stick to a chipset for 2 to 3 years so that the Windows bugs and the various little issues like that can get really worked out so that people can have just a nice, stable, working system for a while. I'm really just upset because I haven't had these problems with Ryzen. I've always been able to get it installed, up, running, and the only problems I've had was some memory issues that the Agesa code recently fixed. And even then, it was just a simple matter of turn down the memory speeds a little bit, problem solved. Anyway, I hate Intel, but I guess I won't hate them that much because I feel better now that I've gotten this off my chest. Catch you later.